let's see what we got here. Oh man. I need. It's crazy how time just runs off. Thumbs up. Good morning. Good morning. So we are on the second trading day of the year. We do have a little bit of some poppers that we have seen before. Nexi, NEXI is definitely one that I've seen before. I'll go ahead and throw it up here. Nexi. Then we have ABVC up 80%. Sassy or Saucy, I don't know which way to say it. DYN. What's up? What's up, GD? Appreciate that. Yep, new year, kicking down the door in this thing, trying to bring the new mindset, bring the new gameplay, and do our thing this year. Maybe end up in a new tax bracket. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. FWBI is up 44%. So these are pretty much our top movers here. Nexi, ABVC, Sassy, DYN, and FWBI. These three down here I was kind of watching yesterday to see if I could take any trades. LBPH, Dogs, and POL were some that we were watching yesterday. Let's jump into the charts. So we'll start with the biggest mover today, which is up 190% on Nexi. Looking at its daily chart, we can see on the monthly, it's we've seen this pattern so many times on these penny stocks. Beat down, beat down, beat down, then they come up crazy. Let's first look at if it has any kind of news on the day. It does not have clear catalysts on the day. Based on what we're seeing here, maybe I could check some other sources and see if they are posting anything, but no catalyst on the biggest mover. Actually, let's just check catalyst first, and then if we see something we like, we can dive into that catalyst. The next thing is ABVC. ABVC and its subsidiary received 460 million from AB or AIBTL Biopharma. As the first milestone payment of a global licensing fee. So not the strongest news catalyst, but it has one. So has more reason to, be active. Let's jump to Saucy. Sigma Additive Solutions announced a 8K filing Tuesday, the approval of the issuance of shares of our common stock in exchange for all capital stock of Next Trip Holdings. Okay, so they got a little bit of news, but again, it's like not that standout news, but they got some things going financially. DYN, Dyne Therapeutics, announces positive. Now we know yesterday we had a pretty big mover on LBPH that has some positive news coverage. So will this one be moving on sentiment to kind of like the move from yesterday? Dyne Therapeutics announces uh, positive clinical data from Achieve trial in DM1 patients delivered trial. What are they? Let's see. Rare muscle disorder for a rare muscle disorder. Okay. See, and that's the thing. When you trade these medical things, you need to know how many people that the medical, whatever it is, issue, disease, whatever, how many people does it affect? Yesterday, the drug was a seizure drug. So seizures, we know it happens all over the world. Now with this rare whatever drug that's coming out, that may be a weaker catalyst because people don't know the nomenclature or the wording that they're using. So let's go look at this rare drug that they're trying to treat, or rare drug that they're trying to create. Let's see, muscle delivery, DMPK. See, all of these words, people just look at it, they're like, what is that? You know? But when you see seizures or cancer or breast cancer, that's something that people can relate to easily, quickly. Let's see. Virtual webcast, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So they really don't have any standout words here that I can. DMPK knockdown is pretty much all I'm seeing. Okay, well they got positive study data, but I think it's still going to be weaker than the move yet from yesterday. But I do like that. I do like the ATR on that one. It is a little bit more expensive, but you know, I don't know. We'll have to see. Let's look over here on the larger time frames. Well, first we got to look at the last one, FWBI, which was a mover from the other day. Went all the way up to 14, fell down, and came back and touched $5 during pre-market, but no news on the day as well. So let's focus in on what has news on today. Poll still down there in the dirt. I looked at that one yesterday. I was like, yeah, that ain't it. That's a continuation, but there were things with Catalyst that I was thinking would do a little bit better, which LBPH was the one that went from 12. Now I had this thing marked up, and I actually drew out the charts and where I wanted to enter on this one if it were to come down to some support that I liked. So when I was looking at this, let me see. When I was looking at this, it came down here to 1269 during the pre-market. And I was like, okay, I want to see this thing drop down through 15 to see if I can buy this zone in here between 1481 to 1269. As you can see, it came down to this little whatever and never dropped through 15. So I can actually show you my scorecard on that. What is my scorecard? My dream. Actually, let me open this up then. Okay, calculations 2024. Okay, here it is. So here was the scorecard from yesterday. And of course, I put these in the Discord or whatever when I score stuff. So this is the price, or this was a scorecard for LBPH. You know, put in the expected price that I kind of wanted to start getting in, 1475. Was looking to risk about 300 bucks on that one. Could grab about 500 shares of it and let it ride. But it never did come into my support, so I just was like, whatever. Also, on the grading scale, it did receive kind of a low grade. Did not have the 5 years of trading history that I usually look for. ATR of $1, it did have that, $1.53. Relative volume, it did have that 200x. Well, when I looked at it, it was 200x. It was way higher than that by the end of the day. Relative standard deviation, pretty high. I like that. Obvious catalyst, the study 1B or 1B2 of a seizure drug was the catalyst. So it wasn't a super strong catalyst for me. So I just gave it a 1 because I was like, it's in between. We'll see how it goes. But it actually went up. Obvious support zone. I was looking from 12 to 15 for that test of 12 to 15 to get in. And then obvious trend, it was trending upwards. I mean, it moved from 6 to 21. So that's a lot of upwards momentum and continued momentum over the top of that. Um, Overall market sentiment. Now, this was a gap down day on the market. This was my picture of the market here. And I always kind of take screenshots of where the market's sitting. But the market had gap down. Maybe I need to zoom in. Okay, so the market had gap down on this day. And I was like, that could make things act funny. And so, I was kind of cautious because of that, and it received a lower score because of the overall market sentiment as well. Looking out on the 4-hour, just kind of a nice move down on the SPY there, and I was like, we'll keep it. We'll keep an eye on it. End of day though for LBPH, it did not come down to that 15. I really want to see it touch that 15 and then yank out of there, but it did not give us the entry. So as you can see on the 4-hour and the hour, it just grinded higher. So I just left it alone, left it on the table. But next one, let's what we say, we're gonna clean up the charts and go and find everything with the catalyst. So Nexi, I'm gonna leave that one up there just because it has the highest mover. That's the biggest mover. And then everything else under it, I'm probably get rid of. So let's see. ABVC, you had a catalyst. Saucy had a catalyst. DYN, catalyst. FWBI, no catalyst. And we'll clean up LBPH and dogs. I saw dogs pop up and I was like, that one's a weird one. I think I've seen dogs before, but I don't ever remember really having any great news. Good morning, Mag Capital, GD, Lori Lee, everybody in the building. So we pretty much have narrowed down to, and this is what I like to do every morning, narrow down to, 4 stocks. If something pops up afterwards, okay, but get your focus where you're not looking at like 20, 40 stocks and the market is moving, because that's an emotional thing. You pop over, this is moving, that's moving, that's moving. And it's like, where's your focus? You get lost in the sauce. All right, so yeah, those are our top 4. And we'll see what Nexi, look at Nexi during pre-market, just absolutely going up. Plus, it has these levels that we've seen before. We've seen a setup like this before where we've seen sell-off during pre-market that hasn't taken effect. So it has to actually find some type of support. So we'll see during intraday where that support actually is. This is a very extended play. Mad Capital says, how far back do you go when looking for a catalyst? 3 ways, max 5 days, or just today? So it depends on what kind of play I'm doing. If I want to do continuation, I mean, I can look back, probably like within this month, especially on a catalyst that was maybe forgotten, maybe. But the only problem is that I've seen with that is a catalyst that forgotten. Sometimes it's not revisited until on down the line with another really good catalyst comes on that stock. So I mean, I guess you could get in for that future move, but that's like, that'll be like a swing trade, right? Or maybe even a longer term, like holding like maybe 3 to 6 months. But in the small caps, usually, now that could work in the larger caps or mid caps possibly. But in the small caps, I mean, a lot of people get their money on the day and get on down. So I'm looking for, especially with the grading system that I have, it's for the day one move. When the catalyst drops, how are people reacting to it? But for, longer term, like, I look back all the way. I look back for catalyst probably as far back as like 3 months just to see, especially if it's a name that we've seen before. I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen that name. Let's go back and look at what the catalyst was. And that can be a precursor to a move in the future. Like on some of these pharmaceutical, like Nexi, we've seen that one before. Some of these other ones that we've seen before, I'm like, wait, I remember that. Why can't I pinpoint what the catalyst was on that one? I'll go and look it up. But yeah, for these day trades, I'm looking for catalysts on the day. on the day, because I'm really my average hold time is 30 minutes to an hour. So I want to see some action in 30 minutes to an hour. All right. But actually, let's go and jump into and look into some of these ones. Some of these Nixie, no catalyst on the day, but I guarantee it has a low float. That's why it's up so high. All right, so last catalyst was 2 months ago. Immune Yale extend research partnership for type 1 diabetes. That was news from 2 months ago. It's a biotech, and of course, this is why shorts don't like trading biotechs on day one, because they can get there like yesterday with the LBPH or whatnot. That stock, I mean, it really didn't have 5 years of anything. People were just buying, just buying. And so for shorts, it looked like it would be a good short. It had a lot of top and tails and all of this stuff, and it just kept grinding higher every time. And the other thing is it would dump $1.50, $1.75 per share, then reclaim the whole thing. So that kind of takes the steam out of the shorts boats, especially when they're trying to play reversals or something like that. And then the same thing for the longs, it would dump and longs would be stopped out and then reclaim the whole thing. So I don't know. I don't know if my scoring system, it only scored a 40 on my scoring system. I was like, that don't look too good. It needs to be a little bit stronger to be a little bit more predictable. Because that's the only way you can make money in the market is to have some predictable signals that work together to give you profit. Next one is ABVC. And let me read that chat. Let's see. Do you trade pre-market? No, no. I like capitalizing on I like capitalizing on everybody. The bots, the emotional people, I like capitalize on all of it. And I like trying to pinpoint where like big money is moving the market. So where shorts are getting to a point where it's like, okay, I'm shorting this to this support level. Once I get to that support level, I need to start scaling back. I need to start, taking some profit off because I'm shorting something that is, while it is up, it has a catalyst and it has a obvious support coming up. I need to be covering. That's what I'm looking for. That's why I look for a catalyst. That's why I look for obvious support. So it's kind of like a in everybody's mind, shorts and longs. It's like longs are like, okay, I'll buy at this level. Shorts are like, I need to be out at this level. This is not gonna be looking good if it bounces or slows down in this little support zone. You know, and without catalyst, you don't have that fear from the shorts and that confidence from the longs. It's kind of just, and that's why some of those without catalyst get so choppy because people are like, should I buy? Should I sell? What was the catalyst from 6 months ago? What more relevant catalyst is it can create more fear or confidence. Yeah, I guess it creates both. But yeah. ABVC, let's see what we got. ABVC, a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company, develops drugs and medical devices to fulfill unmet medical needs in United States. Okay. What kind? Okay. So ADHD, attention deficit disorder, clinical trials. Okay, we'll see what that does. Let's see if it's a low float. I didn't even check the float on Nixie. Float is 5.4 million on ABVC. Let me jump back over to Nixie and check that float. Float is under a million on Nixie. That makes sense. That's why it's up so much. People are like, "Oh, low float. Let's go." SASI, SASI. I literally said it right and typed it wrong. Under 1 million in the float on that one. SASI is Sigma Additive Solutions. That does not sound like an information name. Sigma Additive. That sounds like a drug company. Sigma Additive Solutions operates as a software company. The company offers PrintRite's 3D, an integrated hardware and software edge computing platform that combines inspection, feedback, data collection, and critical analysis. It also provides PrintRite 3D, energy depositions and for the metal parts, and PrintRite 3D selective laser for polymer materials. It serves aerospace, defense, oil, gas, biomedical, and power generation industries. Okay. Definitely a pretty strong profile there of what it does, but the price definitely isn't reflecting it that much. It is up to $4, almost to that $5 mark, and $5 is where a lot of prop firms come in. So once it gets over $5, they like to. That's why you see those bigger ranges over $5, like $2, $3, $4. It may be a little choppy, especially $1. It's gonna be choppy, but over five, people with a little bit more capital to play with come in and do so. And that's why you see those bigger ranges, because they push it further and it takes more people to stop them. Okay, so Nexi pulling back after this nice extended run. ABVC got a top side here of 250, up 87%. The ATR is pretty low. It's going to have to be recalculated. It says 14 cents. I know it's got more than that right now. But yeah, these will recalculate it on the open. Scarface. What's up? What's up? Scarface in the building. Man, did anybody trade anything yesterday? Did y'all take some quick scalps, or did y'all find some way to make money on the first day of the year? I know LBPH was unpredictable, but there were definitely opportunities. It was moving what, 50 cents, 60 cents, 70 cents per candle, even more than that, I think. 80, almost $1 a candle at some points. But yeah, don't know if you guys got any of that on the first day, and I don't really know what signals, because I've really, since I've been thinking about it, a lot of times we compare strategies, but the strategies aren't really what make the trade. Exactly. It's the signals that support a specific strategy. So let's say if you're buying a dip, what signals get you into that? Are you using VWAP? Are you using some kind of indicators? What all signals have to align for you to take the trade? You know, and then if you're doing really fast trades, I mean, you really don't have a lot of time to look for a lot of signals, which is why we see a lot of times people that use like the 9 EMA or something like that. When it gets close to the 9 EMA, you see these quick pops off of it. Those people don't have a whole lot of time. They just say, it touched the 9 EMA, I'm getting in. Or the algos are jumping in, 9 EMA touch, you know. And sometimes it doesn't work out. It goes through. And on those times, you just have to have good risk management. If it rips through and some, I mean, it can go either way. But what signals are you using to support your strategy? Whether it's buying breakouts, whether it's buying the dip, whether it's playing in consolidation, like what signals have you collected? What data have you collected? Maybe like 100 trades or so that say these signals, work more than 50% of the time, and I can capitalize and get a better than 1-to-1. 1-to-1. But yeah, we're gonna see. I think ABVC has a good chance of going back under two. It's going that way right now, but it also has this level here, which some people don't look back on the charts, and so they're like, okay, this $2 level here, this is a buy for me. So they'll look at this, and this is their signal. That's the only signal they need. Or maybe they're using this and VWAP or something like that, and there may be a pop at $2, but we'll see on the open. We have about 4 minutes left. Nexi really doesn't have any kind of obvious spot like that. Saucy, Oh, I've seen Saucy before because there's red lines here. Usually my lines now are white, so those are really old. Let me look back on the chart and see. Oh my goodness, this daily chart though. Saucy been getting beat down. Now it has 5 years of history, but boy, Saucy must have did some reverse splits in this day. Next C got that same downwards look on the monthly. And also I'll check what the SPY is doing as well. Look at all these daily charts, just a lot of giving back profits, huh? DYN doesn't quite have 5 years, but it made a bottom down here at 4. It was at 13 and it popped up to about 17. So right above this level on DYN. But it's a lot weaker catalyst than we saw with LBPH. All right, we got about 2 minutes to the open. And we'll watch Nixie out of the open. Nixie, and then we jump down to ABVC. If y'all see anything that is circulating that I haven't seen or whatever that has a catalyst, that would be great. Those catalysts make my day. Okay, so now we're getting a little buying pressure, what looks like buying pressure. Where's my phone? All right. "36 seconds. Like I said, these types, I've seen this chart pattern so much, they have to come down and find some type of support. And ABVC has this level right here at the $2. And that's really the only obvious thing that I see though off the rip. DYN, I just don't trust that one down here. It's got kind of like the same pattern, but it's looking a little bit weaker. All right, so we got the open. Coming up here towards the top, popping there and looking for a 725. And well, there's a lot of the breakdown. It's gonna have to find the bottom. ABVC will be the next one we pop over to. Let that push everybody out. And this one's coming right down to this $2 mark. And it does have catalyst too, so at least it has a catalyst. Okay, so we're seeing some recalculations on ATRs and things. Let's jump over here to the scanners. Next C has an ATR of 85, relative volume of 28x. It's normal, relative standard deviation. It is out of the norm, but it just doesn't have that catalyst. ABVC going down towards $2, only has a 20-cent ATR, relative volume of 6, and relative standard deviation only of 1. So it hasn't really become a outlier just yet, even with 20 million shares on it. And Nexi has 11 million shares. SASI 50 cents in the ATR, 28 cents. So relative volume, relative standard deviation very low there. Only 3 million shares traded. And DYN going down as well. Let's look over here on the scanners. We got FWBI not really in the competition, DYN not really in the competition. So our top two is just going to be Nexi and ABVC for a while until something else wants to come and try to challenge. All right, back over here to ABVC. Let's see how it reacts to, and also let's look at the SPY. I forgot to look at the SPY. The SPY is still on its descent. This will be a second day move down to the 470s. That's a nice whole dollar level of the 470. We'll see if it can slip on through there, or will there be buyers at this previous bottom here of 470. Looks like they've already broke it down though, but this is the beginning of the morning, so we'll see what the SPY wants to do, and also the NQ. NQ. So we seen, I think the other day we saw the NQ, and I said, hey man, this thing looks like a double top up here. I'm wondering, is it going to have to slow down here, pull back and consolidate, or because it just looked like an indecisive level at the end of last year, and now we're seeing some of that pullback here on the NQ and the SPY. Okay. Next, see big indecision right in the middle of the candle. So the question is, will it be able to hold 725s? And this one, I don't know. This would be buying high for higher with no cap. Okay, ABVC also touching $2. Let's see if it can slow down here and close the candle around $2 for a bounce. Getting a little buying pressure there. Y'all see that little bitty kind of tick off that $2. Now, there's no real other obvious levels, so you know that's the only spot that it could bounce. And the question is, will shorts be able to go ahead and blast it through, or was that the touch? Was that the touch that's going to send it higher? DYN came down here, slowing down at this level as well, but it just does not have that volume behind it just yet. Saucy took a nice dip down. To this level here. Okay. ABVC holding up the $2 level. Scarface says buying under VWAP after market opens, setting a tight stop at previous support has helped me. So being patient at the initial open, waiting for the drop under VWAP, tight stop. Okay. Yeah, that's one of the strategies. Actually, let me think. I was looking for divergence away from VWAP, so I wanted to get on away from VWAP, not just a drop under, but get away from VWAP underneath and then buying. But that was when I first started trying to buy the dip, and I was like, man, it's under VWAP, it's getting away from it, let's buy and see what happens. And so with that, it was kind of like a 50-50 chance. Maybe it bounces, maybe it goes lower. And so I had to find those signals that kind of helped me get that strong reversal back to VWAP, not just just a little tick up and then crash back down in my face. But yeah, that is definitely a strat. Let me see. Scarface says after crosses VWAP. Mike D says good morning, happy new year, happy new year to everybody. We out here trying to make good decisions in the market, profitable decisions in the market. So got the bounce off of the 2, and it's kind of holding there. Nexi already kind of giving up that lifeblood through the 7s. So ABVC is looking like the next one that could definitely give some moves. Got 23 million shares traded on it, and it's still, this relative volume is still increasing. $2 seeming to be a whole spot, but I would definitely wait for some of these candles to close to get more information. Are those actual buyers coming in? Because if this is the $2 level, if big buyers come in, this thing with some nice size, this thing could easily pop back to 220 with a big buyer. So I'm looking to see this candle close and see how it reacts the next candle off of the $2 level. And there's a little test under the 2. There's a 190, and let's see what happens back up towards the 2. So it has a couple of minutes left on this 15-minute candle. DYN just not getting any love today. Saucy came down and touched this previous bottom. Next C, looking like it wants to come down to 650s. We're looking like we want to do a reclaim, but I would be patient on this. This thing's got to come back over the 2 to really show that it has that buyers want it over the 2. And then the top side of this candle is right around the 220. So maybe a 20-cent win back up here to the top side of this candle. But if it pushes too far away from this 2, it's definitely going to have to come and retest. There's 89s. What about 175? Will it get 175 down here? Crazy thing is these prices are so low. And if we look over here on the monthly chart and zoom in here, we can see where it tried to come up and kind of break out here at this level of the 220. Could do a retest, but I don't really know. Has kind of like a history of giving back. Zoom in some. Yeah. On the daily chart though, $2 is looking like a little bit of a hold point. So we'll see. We'll see what happens above back at 2 if it can get up. It has catalyst though, so it does have a reason to, make a little bit of a move. DYN looking like it wants to dive on through and try to check on that $16 level. Next C, like I said, these setups, we've seen this pattern before, and I'm gonna call it out every time I see this pattern. It needs to find support. It has no way, and then with no catalyst, it has no reason to stop going down. So ABBC is probably the number one behind Nixie as far as the signals go. There's the 197, looks like it's about to break back over 2. This one still has about 5 minutes left on this 15-minute candle, has not closed yet. So, but looking like buyers are coming in there for that $2 hold. There's a 2 on the tape. 2 on the tape on that one. Just looking right here. And we're seeing them push. And we can look on the tape and see 201s. 201s, can they hold the 2s here? That's the big question. And it looks like they are holding it in this first 15 minutes. This is the only obvious play at the open. So I'm thinking this is where most of those small cap traders are going to be at for this one. Whole dollar level, even though it's cheaper, whole dollar level, they can give you about 10 to 20 cents. And most of them, if you're trading, let's say 5,000 shares, 10 or 20 cents is pretty good. So there's a 202, 201 is tested, broke through. And again, we know that these cheaper stocks do, when they come through this support like this, sometimes they don't hold as well. And that's why a lot of people get stopped out, because they believe, okay, if it's a $2, if $2 is the support level, it should just go there, stop, and go higher. But with these cheaper stocks, that's not the case. They can easily break through support, trade around here a little bit, and then try to go up. And you never know how long that's going to take. Got about 5 minutes left on this 15-minute counter. Let's see if it closes, above this previous low here. So the low was 189 here on this 15-minute candle, which could be a kind of stop place if you were to get in now. 90 down to the 80s would be about a 10-cent risk on whatever you're putting in. And that's the other thing. You gotta have risk management. Got to. 841. So there's the 2s coming back again. So more interest in buying over 2. This is the second time that it's held 2. Do I trust pre-market support levels just as strong as market support levels? Um, yes, I trust pre-market support levels if they are a part of a larger time frame. Like you can look back on the history, and it's like, okay, that support makes sense. We can see it back on prior months or days or whatever. Or if the stock doesn't have history and there's a pre-market support, it's the only thing that people can see. So it's like, okay, that may be relevant support. But if it's got pre-market support levels and it's got 5 years of history and we see actual support levels back in history, I'm gonna take the historical levels over whatever is showing me on the day. They just matter more to me. I want to see it go to that level so I can, buy that support. We did get the hold of $2. Like I said, it probably can test back to this. We look back on the higher time frames, trying to test back to this 221. I don't know if it can get through this, but it possibly could because we've seen it throw wicks up here and come back down. So that's what I'll be looking at on this one. Be careful because yes, it can rip through, but this isn't one that you want to be holding because we can see the pattern here, even back here on 2023. What's this month? January 1st, 2023. Threw a wick up, came all the way back down. Threw a wick up, came all the way back down. Threw a wick up. So yes, there is potential over this 220, but you got to be ready to take profit. This ain't one to be, trying to set up a camp in. All right, so yeah, looking like this candle will be closing above $2. Donnell says small position in Saucy. Let's go look at Saucy. Saucy, it didn't. This one didn't. Did it have a? It had a catalyst. You know. It's just got to get some. The ABVC and Nexi have to fall for Saucy to start to ramp up because it has a catalyst. So that was what, a nice 10-cent pump up off of the $2. So some scalpers got that from $2 up to 210. And let's see, after they sell, will there be continued buying above this level? Now back through the two, I'll be like, okay, is this thing getting weak? Because it's already tested all the way down here to the 189s. It needs to stay above 189. That would be like the line in the sand if I was doing quick scalps, high frequency scalps. Saucy, kind of poppy. DYN starting to hold this level, but I'm just not interested in that one. It's just not getting enough. Even if it goes, it's like whatever. Nixie. I love these kind of drops right here. They, after taking a lot of trades, you realize sometimes these drops are good if they have the right catalyst. They give you a good price, but when you got a big candle like this with no catalyst, the chances that it's going to continue down through the 610 right here is super high. So yeah, it may give you some little pops here, but the momentum is already showing you, hey, we're trying to go down. So if you get in the way of this train, you may end up biting the bullet here, where Nixie has fallen down right to this 610, and plus 610 level isn't really a level that makes sense for a stop. Most of the time we're looking for whole dollars, half dollars. A lot of bots are targeted towards that as well, so we capitalize on bot motion. Sassy getting on up there above the fives, if it can. That may go good for you, Daniel. We'll see. ABVC, another. So it opened the next candle right above the two. So a break above this, and this will be one of those quick scalp things. They'll be looking for a breakout over the 208s, right? And then their stop would be the bottom of wherever this candle stops. So $2. There'll be an 8 cent risk there. Breakout, but that's for breakout traders, and we know most breakouts end up not doing what we want them to do. Saucy, oh my goodness, Donnell's getting blessed. Let's see if it can hold up the 5. You know what? I wouldn't even be nervous. I'd be like, okay, okay, Saucy, let's see you work. Let's see what you got. They completed an acquisition. Oops, wrong thing. Where is it? Completed an acquisition. Oh yeah, Donnell did say he was gonna be looking for this. He said this yesterday in the Discord. He was gonna be looking for things that are doing. I think he said filings and splits and all of that stuff. So he's hitting it. He already was planning on this one yesterday. You know, so hey, I say let it go. Let it go and let's get it. On the daily chart, it looks really strong out here. Got the 5 years of trading history and coming up here above 475. And we'll see if it can actually get on up here, maybe through the 625s. That's $1 away, but I think it's possible. The other thing is on trades like this, if you're in the driver's seat, you know, your whole point is just to kind of just work your stop loss up, but not get too close to get stopped out, right? Because $5 crossover is we like I was talking about in pre-market. This $5 crossover is where prop traders start to get active. So they're like, oh, $5 it cross. Let's see if we can get some buying above this. So at this point, I would be looking for it to hold up the 540s. It's tried it multiple times, but I think it can get on through there. Because I know there's some shorts sitting up here across this 540, seeing how it has been attacked every single time. So there's a 535s up there. So we'll see. Next C giving up the ghost, of course, because it doesn't have catalyst. I'm gonna go ahead and take next C off. There's no point in looking at that one. ABVC again under $2, and now this is just weakness to me. The first test of $2 was the only one that was kind of viable up to 210, but this one is just showing a lot of weakness. DYN continuing down as well. So not looking the greatest. Saucy though. We're looking for the 540 hold, and the thing about this with us seeing this many wicks, we already know it's gonna play around. And I don't know what his entry price was. Let me see. Oh, he already exited. Okay, 446 to 475. This one with these wicks like this, it's hard to hold them because you don't know how far it's gonna drop and if it's gonna stay there. So yeah, he got what 30 cents of profit. That's pretty good. You know, it may end up dipping again. It may actually be in some type of channel, just a sideways channel. But I don't know. This is all speculation. I'm looking. The only thing that really meets my criteria is DYN today, and I don't like the catalyst. I just don't like it. The catalyst is ugh. So this one was the only one that I really was like, huh, maybe it'll be some buying potential. Now looking over here on the daily chart or the monthly chart, we can see yes, it's coming back into some pretty obvious support here after going up for a couple of weeks, a couple of months. But it's like, do I really want this thing at 1559? And what is the actual float on this? I didn't even look at the float. DYN. Dyne Therapeutics. Float of 40 million. I don't know. That just it's just not that intriguing to me. Even though it's coming down into this what looks like support, it's just not that intriguing. Plus, it looks like it's gonna go ahead and take out the whole gain that it had from what 477 all the way up here to 28.71. Huge sell off. And on the daily chart, same thing. Yeah, I don't know about that. That ain't looking too good. I think I'm going to stay away from that one. ABVC showing action back over the $2, but like I said, it's only so many times they can test this too before it ends up breaking. So they're gonna run out of buyers in this area because every time it comes down here, buyers are getting in and selling for some gains, getting in, selling for some gains. So what happens when there are no more buyers here? There's nobody else to buy and sell for gains, so the sellers just take over. Another fail of the $2 is not going to look good. FWBI, what are you doing? Just going down. LAES only up 14%. DYN only up 16%. So yeah, I wouldn't even touch DYN at this point. It's not even keeping up with the regular motions. ABVC. Yeah, just continues to show that weakness. Has about 7 minutes to go on this 15-minute candle. Saucy, wow, Saucy came on back down. Like we've seen. It's got these tails up here. Okay. ABVC back through the two, running out of buyers in this level above 189. It's only so many times it can get down there because the more buyers that get taken out, the less buyers really come into that position. They're looking for the lower. They're like, okay, if it gets to 175, then I'll buy. If it gets to 150, then I'll buy. People that are trying to buy the dip usually don't buy just any random dip. They'll buy this first one, this obvious one around the two, but after that, it's like, okay, we want to see this thing get on down before we try to get in again. Look for the big money to be looking for, or not big money, because big money doesn't trade this, but look for those prop firm traders to try to get those better prices and get in with them. We'll take DYN off my scans. All right, let me read some of these chats. Danielle took all the money out of the market today. ABVC is a short. Yeah, probably. Mag Capital says, what do you recommend for structuring your business? Do you have a holding company that is in control of your LLC? Here in the UK, we call LLC LTD. I just had to open a holding company and then opened an LLC company for the broker account and placed it under the management of the holding company that I'm a shareholder for. Now I pay less tax. Yeah, yeah, because you can take the because you can do the business expenses deductions. Uh, ABVC right down to that 189. They look like they ran out of buyers here. We'll see if it actually breaks down 189. But yeah, doing some tax or doing some capital protection there with LLCs. Here in the States, LLCs, you basically open up an LLC, you pay to the state every year or whatnot, you get a license for your LLC. Um, and you can then, but even if you get an LLC, that doesn't necessarily mean that that you can take deductions based off your trading. If you have something else, like I have 2 3 YouTube channels. I could do an LLC on those, or a business that is like consultation on those, and then get my tax deductions that way. But you have to be usually you have to be like a what they call a you have to get trader status to get to do a LLC as like you by yourself as a sole proprietor. This is my business. I just trade. That's what that's basically how that goes in the US. You have to reach trader status. Now I know in the UK, I don't know if y'all even have PDT. There's a lot of other laws that I'm not really familiar with that may go into y'all's system, but over here they make everything as complicated as possible. So by the time that you actually set everything up, you lose your mind and you end up, you know, just on the edge all the time. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, they do make it where you have to meet certain criteria. You have to have a certain frequency of trades and all that stuff to be even considered to get that trader status. Okay. But yeah, that is one way to manage your taxes. But with me, I got a couple of different ways that I use. Not, I mean, it doesn't necessarily need an LLC because I can do other things in my other businesses to, because for the most part, the equipment that I use, the everything that I do is used for multiple purposes, not just trading. So I can do a percentage based deduction on the percent of whatever is used for that particular business. But yeah, taxes be out here. They're gonna get their little claws into it no matter what. Sassy, where did Sassy go? Sassy big pump down. All the way back to red down there. Okay. And then ABVC right above the 189, just trash. Oh, see you're doing other things too. You said, let's see, what do you recommend? I mean, I just had to open. Nope, that's not there. Okay, but I'm also an Uber driver, so I take out all my expenses on my holding company. Yeah. So see, you're doing other things. So for me, I do developing software, network engineering. I'm a contractor in multiple different, um, job forms, so I can wheel and deal with the taxes. It doesn't matter. They can't get me. No, they can't get me. They always do get me, but they don't get me as much as they want to get me. All right, so ABVC just looking real weak under the two now. Has almost completely run out of buyers down there. So I'm thinking it's going to go ahead and try for a breakdown of that 189. Um, Other than that, man, let me see. Nexi still looking trash. Okay. Not a whole lot on the board. Nothing that I see out of the open that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna trade that. I'm looking for this level. No, I just don't see it today. So this will be a secondary no trade day if nothing shows up. And to be honest, if anything does pop up, usually it's gonna break the strategy anyway because I'm trying to buy low. And by the time I see it, it's rocketing up. So I'm like, I'll wait for it to come back down. But yeah, this is Wednesday midweek. Have not taken the first trade of the year just yet. I'll be getting my feet wet once I see the signals come through and see the catalyst and everything aligns. I will definitely take the trade. But yeah, it is 9 o'clock. I'm about to get to my morning meeting. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Again, we do have the Discord, so we kind of continue talking in there, especially if there's something interesting moving, or if you have any questions or anything like that. We'll be in the trade analysis chat. I mean, literally just put it in there. We can talk after stream or whatever. But I'm about to get to this meeting. Again, appreciate you. Happy New Year to everybody. Starting off January, trying to get a nice cushion on the year. And as always, um, I try to learn every day, try to learn a little bit more. Um, Enjoy meeting people from everywhere, all over the world. But it's been a pleasure uh serving with you all today. I try to give y'all a little bit before I get on out of here. But yeah, I think I've talked enough. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Peace.